Here we are in mid-November 2020, a year that will always be remembered for COVID-19. Many of our residents are still mostly housebound, and all of us have found that our activities, whether it's travel or social, have been rather limited. The Green Thumb Club, which is part of Landing's Land Lovers, wanted to have a holiday program that could be accessible to almost everyone, and which probably means it would be online, and would introduce a bit of holiday cheer and the spirit of the holidays. We found a wonderful partnership with Adrian Williams, who was a professional flower arranger, owned a floral shop, and is now the head of the Flower Guild for St. Peter's Episcopal Church right here on Skidaway. She is going to make some arrangements for us today, and the partnership expanded when St. Peter's generously suggested that we could use their streaming facilities, which don't run themselves, so we have further volunteers who are helping us with that. Adrian is going to do 4 arrangements for us today. 3 of them are quite simple to do once you see how to do them, and would be useful in everyday life. And 1 is very dramatic. And now I'm going to turn this over to Adrian.
Welcome back. This is the 3rd arrangement. And as you can see, it is green. It's actually green and white. I chose this arrangement for a couple of reasons. Number 1, we're going to do a fall one. We've done a Christmas one. And this one would be perfect for the new year, but you could actually use it for Christmas as well. And the other thing that's a little different about it is these are not real orchids. These are silk oncidiums, which I think look real, and I'm a florist, and I think they look real. And the fact is, for me to get quality of live oncidiums that look like this, we are talking my cost would be about $60. So this saves you. So if you ever shop at Michael's, or if you ever, every now and then, want some really nice silks, you have to hunt, because there's one section or one brand that they have that looks natural, and the rest of it looks like, you know. So this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start with, these are Viburnums. Aren't they beautiful? And they have a very woody stem. So there are a couple of ways to treat woody stems. Some people just cut it at an angle, leave it at that. Some people like to crush it with a hammer. I don't do that. There's just something about taking a hammer to a flower that I can't do. And some people scrape it, so I'm gonna scrape it. I'm gonna scrape it, cut it at an angle, and then I'm going to cut into it, because it's woody, it doesn't drink very easily. So we're gonna give this every opportunity it needs to get plenty of water. So first scrape, and if it's been sitting in water, you'll see that this kind of comes off like paper. Just using a sharp knife, you can see how it's nice and green now. Then we're gonna give it a nice angled cut, and then we go in one more time and cut into it, like that. So I know it sounds like a lot, but the flowers will love you. And other than that, poke and stick. That's my motto, poke and stick. So just bear with me so I can get the rest of these done. And if I were doing this video again, then I would probably prep these, except for one to show you, and then prep all the rest of them. But not to worry. Okay, so again, I used, so let me explain. So I put banana leaves into the vase, And normally you see leaves placed in a circular pattern, and that's for a short vase, because that's what you've got. But because this is a tall vase, I placed them in this direction. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I don't need a lot of greenery with this because it's got so much. I will come back with a couple of pieces of maybe nagi to add that dark green. But you build in around the bottom first. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to continue. And this arrangement is going to have viburnums, the orchids, and other than that, just greenery. It's really simple. But this would be a great piece for a hall table. Or if you're not having Thanksgiving at your house, this would be a nice piece on your dining room table so that when you walk past, you can at least see some gorgeous flowers just sitting there welcoming you. And I think that's what it's about right now. We need to do little things that make us smile. So you decide what that is in your life, and then try to do it, if not every day, at least once a week. It might be getting in your garden. It might be going to the fitness center, although I don't. I do my exercises at home, but some people are still going to the fitness center. But it could be anything. So whatever makes you happy is what we need to be doing right now. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this. And Kate, you got any thoughts so far? It is simple. It's simple this time. It's really simple. The viburnum. You know what? I need to look at that. I believe I got it from Georgia State. I believe that's where it came from. Now see how just this little bit of dark color just changes that whole. That's why you just gotta, it's texture, color, shade, and movement. Those are kind of the design principles that you just try to achieve in every piece. And movement, like when we were using the eucalyptus, or sometimes you've seen that I do an asymmetric piece and I have a branch that just goes off, in one direction. But it gives that movement because it forces your eye to look off in that direction. But this one, because we're using, I was going to say because we're using the orchids, but that's really no excuse. I think because we're trying to just make this a nice hall piece that you could walk around easily, I'm just doing it in the round. Oh yeah, that works. I didn't have to cut it. Duck. Duck. All right, so what am I running into? I'm running into something here. Stop it, go in, there you go. Yeah. Now the beauty of silks is if it's not hanging the way you want it to, you can just bend it. So that's one of the good things. And the fact that you have it all year. And when it's in an arrangement like this, you don't see the stems because that's the only part of it that doesn't look real because that's kind of plastic-like. But whoops, what am I hitting? Oh, my branches didn't duck. All right, branches, get out the way. Okay, so if you notice, I kept a viburnum out. I always try to keep out at least one piece, just in case I need to fill in, because it's easier to add a piece than to take pieces out. Sometimes that just upsets the apple cart. It's not too bad when you have the armature that we have here with the wire, but if you had just these in here loose and you'd pull one out, well, you've put 10 other stems in. And so now everything just kind of it's like marbles. It's like marbles. All right. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this one to stand up in the center. And it doesn't want to do it, so I'm going to fix that. There you go. All right. Now what do we need? We need to put a little bit of, we talked about this before, we need to dress her. So I think she looks pretty, but she needs a little dressing right around the edge here. And because we have so many different textures here, I'm not going to add another texture. So I'm going to try to do it with either the myrtle or the huck, just so that it's not too busy. Because I think the simplicity of this piece is just nice. And again, this stuff, this huckleberry, I mean, it will survive everything. It will survive everything you throw at it. I used to, when I had the flower shop, I had a guy who grew greenery in Florida. And when he first introduced me to this stuff, I kept thinking, why don't people sell that? No one knew what huckleberry was. And yes, there is a whole business of people that just grow and sell greenery to florists. They don't even have to sell flowers, they just sell greenery. And greenery costs almost as much. So if you have a nice yard and you don't have to do that, good for you. Because this stuff can break the bank. All right, I'm going to leave those pieces of huck because that's all I have left, and I'm going to need them for my last piece. So I'll put myrtle in. I've got extra myrtle. So again, myrtle, you can cut it. Because all I want to do, let me show you what I'm looking at. You see that hole? That hole there? That hole that's yelling, fill me, fill me. So, yeah, so I'm going to fill her with that. Fill me, fill me. Yeah, that's the hole. And here's another one. And it doesn't want to go. Well, it wants to go, it just doesn't want to go the way I want it to go, which is not acceptable. All right, I think we're done. What do you think? Let me see it from the front. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I don't think it needs anything. I don't think it needs branches or anything. All right, guys. Spray, 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 spray. There we go. One more piece. Hi, I am back with our fall arrangement. And again, I've used the wire. You probably can't see it, but it's in here. I made it like a banana and stuck it down here because that's the perfect way to do it for this kind of vase. This is a gorgeous container. And to be quite honest with you, we weren't going to use this container. We were going to use a traditional white porcelain container and, just have it as a traditional piece. And Miss Kate decided that she loved this container, so this is the one that we're using. But I think it'll be gorgeous. So this is a little modern for us, but same principles. We're going to start by greening it up. And I'm using huck. The thing about autumn or fall or Thanksgiving is all about greenery. So you'll see I'm using, and we say greenery loosely, but these are autumn leaves that are glycerin processed, and so we'll be using like an assortment of those and just a variety of other greens. But so for now, I'm just going to start greening it up. So bear with me, and I'll talk as I go, or not. So I'm doing this assuming that it can be on the table, but it may not necessarily be sitting at the center of the table when you're having your Thanksgiving dinner. But this is also one of those pieces that would just be beautiful sitting on your dining room table, even if you're not in there having dinner. So establish your lines and play with it until you get it where you want it. So because I'm using the huck as my linear piece this time, let's see if I can get this piece to go all the way in. What is stopping it? I got a branch here that's stopping it. I want it lower. There we go. Let's go, 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 go. Okay, so because I'm using that as my linear, and before I used it more as a filler, so we're using it a little differently, and I wish it would turn around, but it's not cooperating. I might have to switch these two pieces, yep. All right, let me change. See, this piece wants to go this way, so I'm going to let it. It's going to go the way it wants to go. Now it's happy. And then now I can insert this one going the other way. Sometimes it's not worth the fight. And that one definitely wasn't. All right. Go. And I don't have much left to offer this piece. I have these pieces. Okay, let's see. I've got this. I can just stick it in there. That's not going to go down. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. So that goes in the trash. All right. Okay, so we've used huck and myrtle, which are two pieces that we've used before. And now I'm going to add a little nagi to it. And this is a piece that has a very interesting shape. So I think I'm going to take advantage of it. So it wants to go up. And I think I can let it do that if I can just get it in there. Maybe it has to go this way. You just got to feed it through. When you are working with this wire, you'll see that it's actually in two layers. So sometimes you have to twist it around a little bit to get it to go into the second layer, which is great because that's what makes it stable. keeps it working the way you want. All right, let's see. I'm going to more neckeye. This neckeye, if you were using it for something, it literally can be out of water and it'll last a couple of days. It's almost like leather. And it just has such a wonderful smell. Okay, so I'm going to stick that in there. We'll fill that up with water before we're through. And this piece will go here. Okay. Now I can finish it off with this, my last piece of myrtle. Huck. My last piece of huck. I'm going to put it kind of off center like that. Perfect. All right. We've got some pieces of this. I'll put this on the side for now. All right, I know I'm probably talking to myself more than I'm talking to you right now. Just trying to work with the greenery that I have and what I want this to do, how I want this to present itself. And so you'll see just adding a few more pieces in the front. Here we go. I might move this down just a tad. That just fill that in a bit. And here we'll do the same thing. Okay, now we're ready for some plants, some flowers. So we're going to leave these dahlias for last because we want these to kind of stand up. Oops, that's trying to droop on me. Yeah. Dahlias don't last very long, unfortunately. They're gorgeous, but they only have like a 4 or 5 day shelf life. Okay, so just like we did with the roses, we're going to go in low and in high. That's the whole point. We're going to vary the insertion. And just kind of put them in wherever you see a spot. When you start out from the beginning, that's everywhere. So that makes it easy. I wish you could see my table. I can't even find anything right now. It's just such a sight. But as long as the flowers are out. So I'm going to raise this. And I try to raise it with the thinnest ones. And it can be, oops, I might have to. Doesn't want to stay. There we go. So we might have to put a few more branches in to stiffen it up. Okay. And oops, that just wanted to fall down there, which is fine. All right, I'm going to swing this around, work on the other side. And everything doesn't have to just come to the center. The center doesn't always have to be the focal point. Slightly off center is actually more pleasing. So now it's time to tuck some in. And the ones that I tuck, I like them to be fuller. kind of clean up as I go, but I have thrown away so many pairs of scissors, you wouldn't, I mean, knives and clips and things cleaning up. So I have to be careful. All right. So I think we're almost there on this. I'm going to put one out at each end. Let's see. And we're not going to use all of them. And let's see, I think I could put, I had some branches. I think the curly willow, I'll put a little of that in. So now we're going to tuck these in low because the focal flower, of course, is the mum. It's a beautiful color. It's very dramatic. And these are just going to look like they're just growing in this pot. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you can see how that picks up the yellow in the mum and just changes it. But it doesn't take away from it, which is what we're trying to accomplish here. It does. It brightens it up, doesn't it? It just makes it pop. Kay said it's the wow factor. Yeah. And don't be afraid to just tuck flowers just down in, you know, because when you are sitting at a table, or even when you're walking by, but mostly because the mums have this color, it'll just pick it, you'll just see it. It makes your eye go from the buttons to the center of the spider mums, which is what you want to happen. So when I mentioned motion, I raised that. So now I've got to bring that attention over here a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is add a few pieces of curly willow in here. And it doesn't need a lot. And I love curly willow when it really curls. Like there's a piece right here that's just going shoo. Which is exactly what you want it to do. And because it's already dried, you don't have to worry about it being in the water. You can just stick it anywhere. Okay, so we've got that done. I've got some wheat. All right, so I am thinking about putting in a few of these orange roses. But what I want you to see is this orange doesn't necessarily complement that mum. So we're going to do a transition on it, and I'll show you how that works so that we can actually use it. And I'm going to tuck it in rather low because, again, as gorgeous as it is not the star of the show. You can't tell her that, though, because she'd be very offended. So we'll, shh, quiet. But that, and then we're going to add a little bit of this tobacco color. And you'll see how that just kind of blends it all together. All right. So we're going to do maybe just a few more orange. Flowers generally look better when they're grouped. So I'm going to do a grouping right here on these. Like it? And now I could do 3 here, but I think this side looks really nice with 2. I don't think it needs that third one, so I think I'll leave that. And instead, let's see. This isn't going to add anything, so I'm not going to use it. And that's really the key, guys. If it doesn't add, don't put it in. Just don't even worry about it. It'll be fine. All right, so we'll take that out and maybe just do, let's see, we could do a few pieces of this. This isn't interesting. It has all the right textures in it. Now that would be, is that too much? I have to look at that. Oh, I like it. I like it. Wow. Yeah, that looks nice. And I think what I'll do, so there's a design style that has what they call an L shape or right triangle shape. So if this is standing up, then I think I could bring this one in this way, and it brings your eye through. All right, so that's most of it. Now, I had bought these vegetables and fruit and all of that, but to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to add anything. I think, well, maybe unless I put it right in the center. It's probably not big enough, and I did have some bigger ones, but I didn't bring them. So, but you see, if I put that in there, you don't even see it. So I think I'll leave that alone. I think instead I'll just finish up these little yellow mums in a grouping and then call it a day. See if we have any other holes that we can poke stuff in. But I like it. And again, it's a piece that it's mums, so it's going to last a while. And it might be a little tall for a dining room table if you were having dinner, but I have taken my centerpiece and off-centered it at the table when it was too tall. That way it's still at the table, it's just not in the middle, you know? Especially if you have a smaller group of people. You sit towards one end, no point in spreading out. And then you put the flowers at the other end. So if this doesn't inspire you, I've got one last tip for you. You can always just take the flowers that you love, no matter what they are, the roses, the mums, the proteas, the viburnum, and put them in individual, let me see if I have some, individual containers. They're short, like these. I use these all the time. So just get some greenery out of your yard, put it down on the table, get these at the dollar store for $1. They're actually candle holders, and then cut them short and just pop them in. and place them, usually odd numbers, 3 to 5, down your table with the greens. Put your little vegetables around it, and you're done. So that's my last suggestion for you. But I think I hope you've learned something. I hope you have enjoyed it. We hope that we can do something like this again, and it's been great. Anything else, Kay? You got? Okay, let me clean this stuff off so that you guys can actually see what this piece looks like. Do you think we need more green, Oh, let me try. Where are they? Oh, okay. Let's see. And again, as pricey and beautiful as these are, if they don't work, they just don't work. So these dahlias do not last long. So these are, I hate to say it, not on their prime. But dahlias are just so magnificent anyway. I probably could stick a couple of these in just to give you that height.
There's always room for dahlias.
Always room for dahlias. You do have a point there. You do. And they just have, I mean, they just twist and turn and do their thing. Let's see.
I'm just going to move this so when they zoom in, they can get.
Okay. Take them home. I think 2 more. Yeah, I do. I'm glad we did that. I think they will add. It's just a shame they don't last as long as you'd like. But c'est la vie. Blooms in. I need something up in the center of this. I think I'm gonna do. I just love the blooms of the dahlia. I mean, even, I should say the bud of the dahlia, because even if it doesn't bloom, it has that unique bud. This just does not want to go in. It's being stubborn. Stubborn. All right. This one is going to have to go in really low because she's damaged. Oh, but this one is the star. Where all of the others gave up the ghost, this one has decided to just shine. Oh, God, she's beautiful. All right. Spray. And if you guys are saying, what a messy table, I started out saying, arranging flowers is a messy business. So don't blame me. All right, I think I'll put just a few more pieces. You like it? Good. I'll put just a few more pieces of these leaves in to get them to. That one, and I think I'll put a piece up towards the center here. Now, when I had the flower shop, it would be at this point, my husband would start grabbing the arrangement from me, saying, it's done, because he delivered. So the word was, step away from the table. Because you could just sit here and fiddle with it forever, and it wouldn't necessarily get any better. It just gets fuller. All righty, guys. I think she's pretty. I think she's dressed. All right. Oh, this is a gorgeous little bloom I can stick in here. All right. Let me just clean off this table so we can get a good shot. Just 1 second. I want to thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, I think Kate's gonna, how are they gonna send? You're gonna send something out in the email. She'll send something out in the email, and I will then give you guys some links on floral arranging websites that I use to get inspiration that I think you might find helpful. But this was fun, and I hope we get to do something like this again. Turn it around. Okay. All right, let me wipe off the table. So here is your final centerpiece. I think it turned out great. You get to see it from all angles. It looks festive and it looks like Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and whatever you do, try to de-stress and enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and we hope to do something like this again soon. Take care.